with HCL, and he will be giving this talk on leveraging managed services. So over to you, Sharan.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. I know it is tiring specifically for all IT guys. You know, after lunch, attending. I think this is the third session after the lunch. We IT guys don't, specifically if I consider myself, even I was, handling a lot of IT projects, and I was not interested to sit. And you can see that what is happening to my dummy also, because most of the time we have to sit down on the chairs also for a long time. So same thing it is happening here also, and I know it was a bit, I don't know how much you could, like most of the time presenters were saying, are you sleeping or you're active. So I'm not sure how much I will be able to keep you on your feet here specifically, because this is something which most of the IT leaders, CIOs, right, are asking this specific question, right, from the CFOs. How do I help you in meeting your IT budgets? Because what you are giving me is peanuts. I will not be able to meet your IT demands. And that's the reason we thought today we will cover this session for you, mentioning the leveraging managed services, aligning IT to business goals so that we can optimize the IT budgets. So let me start the session with the one slide which came from the IDC. With the recessions, with the recent credit crisis, we all know that over a period, right, IT budgets are flat. Do you agree? Right? Is there somebody who is lucky to have this parameter specifically for IT budget? You are getting this type of IT budgets every year? Lucky. I think full session, only one guy, you are lucky, I would say, those who are getting this IT budgets in an exponential way, because specifically today for IT we are all seeing the business demands are growing, right? Specifically the supply chain says I need more from IT, right? But the moment you go to CFO and says I need that much budget, right, to run your businesses, they will say nothing. You just take the same thing or minor changes, right? Beyond that, you will not be getting anything. Now, what is happening today is most of the business, right? If we talk about the organizations today, all transformation we are seeing in the business which is happening, right? The way we used to do the business earlier, right? It's not the same, right? So what is happening is the more and more business is growing, the demand from the business is growing. They are coming back to the IT leaders, CIOs saying, do this for me. For example, today, more of the time we are seeing the banking industry, if we talk about, right, they have totally transformed from the way they were doing it, right? But if we talk about the same thing, go and ask those IT managers, leaders, how much they are getting now on the budget fronts, right? There is a very small room which was given to them for the overall management part. But what exactly was happening is the transformation was required for the business to sustain, right? Now what was happening is last 5-6 years, if you see, from that last 2008 recession, this situation is really alarming for all CFOs, right? Because they are very clear that we will not be able to afford more for IT. So what we need, specifically IT needs some game changers, right? Until unless we cut down somewhere, right, the cost if we are able to control, we'll be finding it really difficult to manage the show. So let's see overall, right, this figure, right, if you see this chart, IT powers business on both revenue and cost. How exactly? Let me just brief you on this chart. If you see this overall figure, central figure, which is the revenue, this is the revenue for the overall organization. So normally over OPEX, which means it is just hardly 3 to 4% of revenue, right? So how much we are getting basically to run the show is just 3% of the revenue, right? Now what happens is the more and more revenues are growing, right? Proportionally we might be getting it, right? But the point here is, referring to the last chart, right? The demand is more, but the way we have to run that show, it's really difficult within that cost. So there is a huge impact on the services front. Now, if you understand this enterprise IT spend figure, right? This chart says 65 to 70% of the IT spend goes towards doing the business as usual. What do you mean by business as usual? The way it is going on, let it run. For example, your hardware, software, products, AFCs, all those things, right, which are definitely required to run the show. So basically the way it is going on, we need to run it, we can't hamper it, otherwise there would be difficult in running the business. So there is a 70% of the IT spend. Now when I am saying IT spend means exactly that 3 to 4% of the IT overall revenue, that is our IT spend. Out of that, 70% is going towards the business as usual. Only 30% goes towards the new technology revisions. When I say new technology revision, in the sense is some initiatives which organizations are taking to bring the change, right, and bring some automation, bring some change for a business which can help in reducing the cost, right? The point here is the major chunk is going towards this and very small portion is going towards some innovations. Right? If I have to bring out some change in the organization from the IT perspective, where I have to bring, let's say, some tools we have to implement, right? Or we have to bring some automation in place, which will really help me in reducing my expenditures towards this, right? Which needs money. But this portion I will not be able to cut down. So what happens is, we always, all the IT leaders, all the IT managers, all the CIOs, they face a problem that today when they say that we have to transform our current service model to any other new service model, because it would need some fresh investments. And that is the reason today this overall chart wise everybody says we face challenge, right? Now this is one challenge which is from the cost perspective. Let's see. Okay, so let me just summarize this previous slide. So that means today the IT spend which we have seen is 65 to 70, which is towards the run business as usual, run on the business, right? Now this grow and transform parameters have been defined, which is 18 and 14. Now anything which we have to, if we have to cost save to be infused in the growth and the transformation, that means we have to move some portion from here towards this activity, then only we'll be able to see the growth in the business, we'll be able to see any transformation in the IT, right? So let's see as a last part of this chart, time is to do more with the less. That means what we are getting is less and we have to do lot of activities. So based on that, some of the CIOs, some of the organizations have taken some actions. What were those actions? Now what they have done, part of the OPEX, they have done several activities. Even you might have done it, your organization might have done it. What are those activities? Like some of them achieve process efficiency, lower redundancies, various activities like Go Green. This was one of the latest something which we were hearing in the market, right? So people have taken some actions on these lines to bring down this OPEX, right? Now, but the point here is, from this IT also, there is expectation that let's bring down this cost 20% and move that towards growth and transformation. So, keeping that in mind, we all understand, let's understand why business is growing and why they are demanding more and more from the IT. Because today, the way we used to do the business 10 years back or 5 years back or 20 years back, it's not the same, right? As I was talking about, how many of people, were going to the websites to make an online buying, right? Today, I think most of the things I am buying online, right? Even today, somebody wants to even buy a house or rent, right, wise, We are not even visiting the sites, we are going online, we are finding out all those activities. So there is a lot of change which is happening in the way we were doing the business, right? Even your customers, the way they are looking for response from you guys is different, right? So your competition has changed, your customers have changed, right? It's not exactly the same way it was few years back. So what exactly is required from our side? We need to ask this question ourselves. Are we ready for the change which is coming up in the market, right? Because when I say are we ready for the change, why? Because there is a huge demand which is coming, or the push is coming towards IT that you need to meet my business requirements, right? The moment this challenge comes up, right, and with the limited budget, right, the question comes is whether I am ready for the change, right? Whether I have made enough transformations or some innovations in my current model which can really deliver the end results. So the point is, with this we went back to some of the CIOs, right, that this is one current challenge, right, on the cost front. So tell me what type of innovation, initiatives you have taken. So the question was, forget innovations here. There are several typical challenges in my IT setup, right, which I am not able to find the solutions. So we said, what are those typical challenges, right? So let's figure out those which can really, based on that we can help you in answering your queries and which can ultimately end up in bringing down your IT spend. So they said, boss, my challenge is I don't know how to define SLAs for my business. Because the way it used to happen, my vendor used to come to me and used to say, sir, I have taken the SLAs for myself, or this is the market trend. You put 95%, that is the market trend. So we'll run the business with the 95% SLA. Fine, so I accepted it. But I don't know really how much it should be. How do I define it? So that was a fun major challenge for any of the IT leaders, that how to actually find it out what is my SLA which is required for my business. Second is how to measure and deliver. So that means the delivery part is owned by vendor. But the point is you are the guys who are enforcing it, right? Making sure it is getting delivered. So, hello? Yeah. So the point here is you need to make sure that it is getting delivered. Next is how do we measure? Fine. Vendor has declared that I have achieved my SLA. So the question is whether you have really met that or whether there was any deviation in that. So the question is, if it is deviation, how I will know that there is a deviation. Now this specific point, let me give you one example. I went to one customer, I said, sir, how's the services running? He said there is a vendor, absolutely, the response is very good. He has never got or paid any penalty to us. I said, oh, very good. So how he is actually measuring the SLAs or getting the results to you? He said there is a register which is lying at the help desk and it is manned by the resource, and that resource is from from that vendor only, and when we make a call to him, he just notes down in register, right? And at the end of the month, he brings that register to us saying this is met. So we say, who is managing it? He said vendor. Who is closing the call? Vendor, right? Who is calculating the penalty? Vendor. So I said very good. So that means there is a complete trust, right? Or there is a complete scrutiny which has happened. They said, no, we trust him because last 10 years he has been here. I said fine. So have you gone back to user to ask it whether they are happy? So there itself, one IT member, he said, sir, my own asset I've been cribbing actually because last few days it is down but no response. I said then why that vendor has not been penalized? He said, sir, when the actual report comes at the month, all those transactions are not there in those registers because they only register backdate it when actually it has got closed. So, I mean, I'm not saying exactly it might be happening in your organization. I'm saying there are organizations who are saying user satisfaction is poor, but they are always claiming the SLA is, there is no deviation, perfectly working fine. So the point was, are you really measuring the SLAs for your IT services? So next challenge, which again the answer came, this type of challenges came from the guys only. They said, fine, so if SLA deviation situation has happened, so what type of actions I should take it, and how can I take proactive actions on those? I said, very good question, fine, so we'll give you the solution. Third is, how do I integrate a service desk for my each function, right? Everybody is working in different silos. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, for my marketing department, there is a separate division because they have a different business requirement. Say there has to be services separately for them for their requirement. Application wise, there has to be separate one. So there are different one, right? Different teams are managing it. So I said, so that means it adds up to your cost, right? So he said, fine. So can I integrate all this function, part of one service desk? I said, fine. Let's see, we can do it or not. So the question which was from the CIO was, how do I integrate services in my organization? Next was, can I have a single interface for all services? Like AMC, like your servers, network, application, all different type of services. Can I have a single interface? Next is, can I quickly align the IT services to changing business requirements? This is, my organization is growing very fast, right? I need a guy who is scalable. I need a vendor who is scalable. Every time I find a challenge that current vendor is not able to cope up my business requirement. So can a solution is available in the market which can help in meeting this requirement? Next is my asset management system and my service desk integrated? Now let me just put more question which is not listed here. How this question actually came up during the discussion. One guy said that we are doing inventory management and all. So I said, sir, to help you out, can you help me in getting the asset report, Pan India report? He said, fine, my guy will give you next week. I said, you said you have inventory management services from that vendor. He said, yeah, they are managing it. But if I need any report, it takes 1 week. So I said, what they do when you ask for this report? They said they have people, they send the forms to them, they fill those forms, they send back those reports, it comes to me, then we consolidate and then give it to the management when it is required. I say, again it is a manual delivery, right? So the point is that organization, few basic questions when we asked them, they said no. One was asset management, knowledge, correct, real time, no information. Compliance to those assets. When I say compliance in the sense is whether all the machines, like a few minutes back I was hearing somebody during the discussion, right? One guy said is, few of the branches, machines, we don't know what type of softwares have got loaded in that. We are trying to figure it out if any pirated software is there or not. So the point is, if somebody has done this non-compliance in the organization, are we aware of that? Or some audit, if it happens, that auditor will tell you there is a non-compliance where they might sue you, or they might, even complain, and again it can cause a embarrassment to the IT team. So the point is, this type of question when it went, they says, we are not even doing it. Vendor is not able to get me these all reports. So I said, fine, so it's also a challenge. So the point was, if there is an asset management system in place, and that also integrated with this service desk or not. So that was the point. Next is, how do I manage a large decentralized? There are several organizations today. When business is growing, people are moving from. Audible? Yeah. So the point is, when we are talking about decentralization, right? Several offices, right, are there where people are saying that we are doing this all management, office by office. That means there is a Mumbai location, one IT team is sitting there. Then there is a Delhi, there is a separate team. That way, even for the client management, which is a heterogeneous environment, where it could be multiple vendors, right, brand of the PCs. Over and above, even the softwares, it could be Linux, it could be Windows or any other domain. So the question was that in that type of decentralized network, right, whether I'll be able to bring somebody who can manage the complete show together. Next is, how do I manage my organization IT security, right? I think there is a separate section happening on the client security specifically, but the point is overall organizations wise, right, how do I manage my IT security? So these were the few challenges which came up. I'm sure when you ask this question to yourself, there might be at least one question where you feel that yes, my organization in one of this challenge, right? So the question when this all was asked, right? So we say answer is moving towards the managed services, right? Which will help you in delivering the value to your business, right? Now let's see few of the points only I have chosen which will actually give the answer to particular solutions. Now for example, the question was how to optimize the cost savings through the enterprise managed services, right? So answer is adopting to the transformational approach, right? When I say transformation to IT management approach, right? Anybody has heard about the framework called PPT? PPT is not what I am showing you. PPT is something different. So what is PPT? Anybody? Process, people and technology or tools, right? So PPT is basically following a framework which is PPT, people, process and tools and technology, right? So the moment we talk about managed services, right, we always talk about using a framework which is called PPT. These three things, if somebody is using a mixture of that with the PPT framework, right, it can help you in optimizing the cost. Next is how do the new SLA based approach wins over? Because most of the time people are saying that I am using a traditional resource based services, right? So if you are talking about managed service, fine. So if I move towards that, right, what are the new changes would happen? So the point is, what is the advantage which you are going to get it? So the point is, the moment we say the SLA based approach if we are talking about, it will bring the predictability in your setup. When I say predictability, what type of predictability? For example, I was talking about your assets, right? How many assets do you have really? Right? Some organization which I was giving one of the example few minutes back, if I when I ask this question, do you really know the exact number of the clients which you have? He said approximately 3,000 plus. I said no, I need exact. He said that is very, very difficult. Even when the manual report will come, it will have approx. I said fine. So the same thing, predictability is not only from the number, it is also from the various services which are getting delivered. For example, even the client. Hello. Hello. So the point here is SLA based approach brings predictability, standardization, optimization and non-linear approach. So when I was talking about predictability, I have given you an example of just one asset only. But now let's talk about a response. I know when the things will get resolved, when they will be acted on, right? And in case if the action doesn't happen, what is the next step, right? Those type of predictability there. How much cost will get reduced by following this, right? Year by year, how much reduction can be assured? That is what the SLA based approach can help you in delivering. Next is that can we identify the cost and timelines of managed services? Yes. But what is the approach which is required, right? In case of a resource based, there is a just, the vendor who is supplying a manpower, right? But when we are talking about the SLA based approach, right, what we are seeing. Hello. I'm sorry, dear. Okay, so there is a governance model which is the key to any of the managed services, right? There is a complete governance model which will gets followed part of any of the managed services deal, right? Which will help in defining or identify the cost and the timelines, right? Which will become more predictable, which will be with the various milestones, right? There will be a practiced approach. When I say practice, it is more of ITIL, right? There are some of the SOPs which will help you in making it a standard or we can say predictable. Next is how can CIOs, IT heads achieve the optimal balance between the cost, efficiency, effectiveness and quality. So what you need is a trusted, experienced expert, right, who understand your business, right, who can help you in defining a perfect SLA based approach, right, who can help you in defining a correct model, right. So answer should be when you look for, right, bringing down your cost, when you want to bring down your cost, when you want to improve your efficiency of the IT, right, you need to look for a trusted and expert IT partner who would be able to help in understanding the business and in reducing the cost and improving the efficiency. So as a summary, if you see, what we have seen is the managed services can help you in measurable, basically it will be measurable, controlled, consolidated, agility, security, predictable, value add for your own customers. So now let's understand deeper into the managed services. What we have given is, we have understood, yes, definitely managed services is the road for us. But now the point here is, what exactly is the managed services? There are two definitions. The moment somebody says managed services, what up? I think they need a expert IT partner who can help them in,
They also need managed services.
yes. I think this activity was deliberately done to see that people are actually active and they are still, seeing the blank pages. Okay, so it's on. They don't want me to move. As I said, IT people wants to move, right, so that they can reduce their temperature. But they don't want me to do that walk and talk. I wanted to do that, but I think I have to stand there. No issues here. Let's start it. So it says, according to MSP University, managed services is defined as any defined set of proactive services that are remotely delivered, defined as per SLA on a recurring basis. So there are few keywords. If you see that, first one is any. So what this any stands for? It includes all kind of services provided by a service provider, including break fix, maintenance, network monitoring, desktop management, hosting services, blah blah. Remotely delivered. What do you mean by that? In the sense is, today managing the show remotely, not from the customer side, right? It could be my premises, it could be my IT operations center, right? The service provider center, right? From there managing the show. So basically bringing down the labor, on-site labor, right? Next is defined as per SLA, right? Now what is SLA? It says service level agreements which are predefined, right? So when the contract starts with any customer, there are predefined service level agreements which defines the payouts that needs to be made to the MSP at when the service gets delivered. Next is recurring. Now why this is called recurring? It is based on when you deliver the services, right, for a particular period. For that particular period, the payout can be given, which is like, it could be monthly, it could be quarterly, right? So that's the definition of the MSP. And next, one major important point is managed services contract cannot be just for 1 year. It has to be for at least 3 to 5 years. Otherwise, the overall impact cannot be seen, because managed services is trying to bring down the cost year by year. So today, if you are managing the show at X cost, the same thing with the some scalability of, let's say, 10% in the business, right? MSP can bring down the cost year by year based on some predefined norms. That's the difference of a managed services compared to any resource-based approach or any other model of IT services. So, if you see this, managed services has evolved over time to deliver higher business impact. So, if you go by this slide, this is the typical, IT services. You go to IT organization or non-IT organization, you ask them how your IT is getting delivered, services are getting delivered. They will say, yes, we have some on-site people from XYZ organization, they are managing your show. So what exactly is that? In layman language, in this technology world, we call that as a staff augmentation, or basically T&M model, right? That is something where actually ownership of SLAs are with the organization. Those resources are just there to assist you in managing the show, but they don't own the services. What I mean to say, SLAs. Next is on-site managed services, right? That is just one step up, where it says there are on-site people providing a T&M model along with some tools and some ITIL process alignment, right? This is called on-site managed services, which is now this overall group of services was a part of 1.0 version of managed services, which got defined to a new level, where it says there is a new approach which has come, right, lately in you can say 2008 onwards, where it says SLA based services are on-site remote resources. That means now today I will not only manage the show, it will be shared model. That means few of the guys will be on board, that means they will be at your side, but few of the services or some part of the services would also be done by some off-site guys. That means remotely they will be managing the show, right? So which is called mix of on-site and remote, right? And there will be tools which could be on-site, that means they will be installed at your premises, or it could also be possible that those tools will be actually installed at a MSP site, right? So let's say I have an IT operations center, right? Those tools can be at my site and I will manage the complete IT assets, right, remotely. So that means even the tools, not necessary that it has to be at your premises. So that approach is now IT managed services. So there is another one step ahead, which says now I will not pay you as a lump sum, right, services. I want to take a new approach. Let's define as SLAs, right, for each service, right, and I will make a payment based on the SLAs which we have signed, right. Now that approach is SLA based services, IT operations, collaborative managed services, where if you have delivered 99.9, let's say my ask was 99.9, right, you will get 100% payment. If you deliver 99.7 or 8, right, there is a X amount or deduction which would happen. So that way, this is a new approach which came, right, where specifically it was paid based on the SLAs. Next, it says collaborative managed services with business outcome based pricing models, which is KPI based, right, which is called business aligned IT services. How it is different? Basically here a different KPIs were defined. Now there is a difference between SLA and KPIs, right? When I say specifically KPIs, KPI could be customer satisfaction, right? Or it could be the number of when I say SLA was specifically for one is my system availability, right? Or number of the response time, right? But specifically when I talk about KPI, I can even link it to the user satisfaction level. That means if my user is satisfied, right, with the rating XYZ, right, then the payment would be XYZ. But if it is lower than that, then your payment or penalty would be applicable. You can also have a reward mechanism there. That means if you overachieve the rating, right, user satisfaction, there would be reward up and both way. That means plus and minus on the payout. Next is the transformation initiative, which is called risk sharing, skin in the game. Basically, this initiative is something reward based. That means most of the telcos today, they are using this, where they say that you run my business, right, and it is like my profit. If it happens based on those business wise, each transaction wise, you get the profit sharing, right? You manage the show right, you need to fund it also, right, and based on the each movement, right, based on the profit which gets generated on each transaction which happens is, so this is like a more of collaboration between the two organizations, right, where they even share their profit and losses, right. That's the last version, which is more of the recent developments. It is like if we have to really rate this, so this model was your 1.0, this is 2.0, and this is 3.0 versions of the managed services, right. Now next is overall, if we see that, right, the last version or even the 2.0 onwards, right, every service business, right, excellence roadmap if we see has got transformed for a basic AMC and break fix business, right, to a overall customer delight. People are not even taking individual services or bothered how it is getting delivered. What they want to measure is whether my customer is, that is when I say customer, it is my internal, right, for any CIO or for them, it is all the divisions are the internal customers, right. So whether they are delighted or not. So that is one roadmap wise. But the point here is, again going back to the framework which we have discussed is PPT, process, right, people and tools. So what are the three things becomes, right. So if you see the first one, the tools, right. Now I have one small example which we have done that exercise for one of the organization. We will not get into the depth of that, how it has happened, what was their background. This is just one case we have considered it. This is one example. When we went to some organization, they wanted to invest huge onto that when we talked about tools, right? But how managed services can bring it change? When we say it is that even you are moving towards the managed services, but you are talking about huge initial investments. You are talking about huge capex. You are talking about huge opex. So when we say it is part of the managed services, how even the tools can be, put into the managed services business, and that is how the major change we have done it for them, right? Where the initial investment for the same tools, right? We have done it for 3 years. This was the cost, but here under the software as a service model, the same thing was transformed into the lower one, which has given 41.6, which has given 72% saving for that. Now this is just sample. Same way if you see that with the model of managed services, how we have actually converted for one customer, where they were using the TNM model, right? Where definitely the second version, where it was like few people on site with the SLAs defined to them, right? Where 4 agents were there, 20 engineers were there on site. This was the number of incidents which were coming, and then they were having a resolution time, which was the average figure which was coming as per the current model was 84 minutes. When we have moved into the managed services model, it has actually, because when the initiative, the processes, when I say processes, ideal processes were implemented, right? What is the advantage of IDL? There is a next slide where I will talk about that. But based on the standardization that we have done in their business, right? Lot of, for example, a basic thing is that organization, I'll give you one small example. Every day morning, right, they were going, the tickets were getting raised because in the server they have to purge some of the logs, right? Because I am not a server expert, but I can just give you one small example only here, where they were saying that space was less in that, either they need to buy more disk and all, but what they were trying to do, they were trying to purge some of the logs every day. And for almost 1 month, this exercise was going on, and every day, right, they were raising one ticket for this. Now the number of tickets are going up, right, and this thing was done by manually. Right, I'm just talking about one exercise where there was no automation, nothing. What they were doing is, no process was defined for this. Manually people were getting involved and they were getting unnecessarily utilized. The manpower was getting involved for this, right? So there was a small automation which was required, right? So what happens, even if it has to be done manually, why by a dedicated resource of a server expert, right? Because of this activity, what they were doing is, server expert was called for every shift. They have provision for 24/7. But what we did is, it was a shared model which was required. We made it into the off-site model, where this activity was done by remotely through our iTalk, where the engineer's strength got reduced. And this has resulted in a heavy reduction in their cost. So how the ITIL has benefited them? As I gave you one example where we talked about standardization. How that standardization happens? It is all through a processes which need to be followed. I hope everybody is aware, because I am not going to give explanation on ITIL overall processes, right? There are, just to name it, the few major processes which most of the organizations either have adopted or they are in the phase of adoption, which is like incident management, right? Problem management, release management, knowledge management, right? So these are the few processes which people have already adopted to, right? So what improvement it can give you? It can give you customer satisfaction. It can improve. So just because of the time shortage, I'm just taking a few, right? If you see this, so for any organization, being a your organization being a decision makers, when you have to take some quick decisions, these are the few points which we have made it, right? When you are looking for an MSP, right? What are the points you need to look for? These are the 10 strong points. Next is this is the SLA, how you have to define it. This is basically joint venture or points between the service provider and the UAT. But your involvement will be more into the transition phase, where you have to set down to define the actual SLAs, right? What is your requirement of your business, where you have to help him understanding it. So your main role will be part of transition. So in short, I have just created another slide. You will not find it in your books. This is just one small change which I did it very shortly in a few minutes back. 4 points which you should remember, right? First one, a service to which SLA applies to be documented by you guys. Second is set of criteria or objectives to determine the service levels that can be used to measure whether your objectives have been met. For example, like system availability, helpers resolution time, application response time, etc. Next, how the service level will be measured, right? This is type of question which you can put into the service provider. There is no point in having a service level if it cannot be measured. Next is action to be carried out if this service SLA is not met. So these are the 4 points you keep it in mind when you are talking to your service provider. Next, this is a part of the same. Now, next when we are moving ahead, when there would be movement from the incumbent vendor to the new, right, service provider, right? He would be following a proper transition plan. This is something going to be look like this. But your role would be part of all as a immediate delegator. But major is plan. You have to get involved part of the planning part, right, where you have to see as defined as the initial one, right, part of the defining the SLAs, processes, sitting down, explaining in the business, right. Same way here also, transition, your role is important. Next is, so how HCL or is there in this last slide. So part of this, right, HCL has 2 separate models, as some of the customers are interested for even the version 2.0 or 3.0, right. For those we have this complete model available, right. Now last is, this is some few questions which are there, which you have to ask yourself, right, after this session, right. How you have to move ahead, how you have to you have to go back to your system, where you have to ask these questions. How I am geared up to help my CFO in reducing the cost, so that you can put more money into the growth or transformation, right? So I will be here tomorrow also, in case if anybody has any questions, it's most welcome, you can come back to me, right? Thanks a lot.